Most fighters panic when they get hurt. Their footwork disappears. Their defense collapses. Their eyes change. But a few fighters do the opposite. When they're hurt, they become more dangerous. This is the 7 most dangerous fighters when hurt. And by the time we reach the final level, you'll understand why landing a clean shot can sometimes be the worst mistake you can make in a fight. Level 1. At level 1, we have fighters who survive being hurt, but just barely. These fighters don't panic, and that alone separates them from many others. They clinch. They circle away. They buy time. Leon Edwards is a perfect example. When Leon gets clipped, you don't see chaos. You see control. He slows the fight down, regains his breathing, and resets his stance. Most fighters would rush to escape. Leon chooses patience. This level keeps you alive. It wins rounds. But it doesn't scare opponents. It's survival, not danger. Level 2. Level 2 is where instinct takes over. This is where fighters don't back away when hurt. They fire back immediately. Justin Gaethje lives here. When Gaethje gets rocked, there's no calculation. There's no reset. There's violence. You hurt him. And he throws everything back at you right now. Opponents expect him to fall back. Instead, they're forced into a firefight when they least want one. It's dangerous, but it's uncontrolled. Sometimes it saves him. Sometimes it costs him. This level is chaos. Level 3. Level 3 is where awareness enters the picture. These fighters know they're hurt, and they use it. Prime Conor McGregor did this better than almost anyone. He would absorb a shot, just enough to invite pressure, just enough to make his opponent step in. Then he countered. Perfect timing, perfect accuracy. You could see opponents fall into the trap, thinking the momentum had shifted. By the time they realized it hadn't, it was too late. This is controlled danger. But from this point forward, fighters stop reacting to damage. They start embracing it. Level 4. Level 4 is where fear enters the cage. These fighters don't retreat when hurt. They walk forward. Nick Diaz was built for this level. Blood on his face didn't slow him down. It pulled him closer. Opponents would land clean shots and expect space. Instead, Nick closed the distance. You could see the confusion on their faces. They expected damage to work. It didn't. Every punch they landed only increased his output. This is where fighters begin to hesitate. And hesitation is deadly. From here onward, getting hurt doesn't just change the fight. It changes the opponent. Level 5. Level 5 fighters are calm inside chaos. They don't lose clarity when hurt. They gain it. Max Holloway is the definition of this level. When Max gets tagged, he doesn't rush. His technique sharpens. His timing improves. He starts reading patterns faster, breaking opponents down piece by piece. Opponents feel like they're winning moments, but losing the war. This is where heart turns into strategy. This is where comebacks stop feeling lucky and start feeling inevitable. But very few fighters ever reach the next level. Level 6. Level 6 is where damage stops mattering. These fighters don't just fight through pain. They ignore it. Prime Robbie Lawler lived here. Broken nose, swollen face, blood everywhere. None of it changed his pressure. If anything, it made him more dangerous. Opponents realized they weren't just fighting skill anymore. They were fighting will. They could hurt him, but they couldn't break him. And slowly, you could see the belief leave their eyes. This is the level where legendary fights are made. Still, there is one level above even this. Level 7. Level 7 is rare, almost mythological. These fighters don't become dangerous despite being hurt. They become dangerous because they're hurt. Prime Tony Ferguson is the perfect example. Getting dropped didn't discourage him. It activated him. Elbows came flying. Pressure increased. The pace became unbearable. Opponents thought they were close to finishing him. Instead, they entered survival mode. Tony didn't fight through chaos. He created it. At this level, fighters don't just refuse to quit. They weaponize damage. They turn pain into momentum, and momentum into fear. These are the fighters opponents remember forever, not for how dominant they looked when winning, but for how terrifying they were when losing. Some fighters fall apart when hurt. Some survive. Some push back. But the most dangerous fighters in the sport are the ones who scare you after you land your best shot. Because once you hurt them, There's no going back. And if you think this list was dangerous, the next breakdown is even worse, because we're ranking the fighters who become lethal when they're exhausted, and that's a list no one wants to be on the wrong side of.